Hello everybody, I thought I'd follow up on the unboxing of the Hobbyking P-51 Mustang. This was in the box which I didn't show you. It's the manual, and surprisingly at first glance it's quite good. Colour pictures, tools you need, different stages of assembly, etc. I haven't had a look through it to be quite honest, but it looks okay. Now, the purpose of this is to just have a look at the quality of the actual model. Now I've had a close look at everything. Now this is the famous tail with the wobbly undercarriage, in other words, not fixed undercarriage. There we go, completely out, look. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it's completely, you can pull it completely out, there we go. Completely out, as you can see. Get a bit nearer with this. As you can see, if the camera's picking up, the wooden bearers are attached to the tail wheel itself, but not actually attached to anything inside the model. I'm not sure whether the camera's picking it up, so it's not been glued in at all. I think there's been an attempt to put a little bit of glue on, but not much, so that's going to take a bit of sorting out. The rudder looks like it's foam hinged, which doesn't inspire me confidence on a model of this size, because of the quality of the foam. It doesn't seem to be particularly high quality. The finish of the tail, you've still got flash around the edges of the mouldings, and it's just been painted over. And there's paint flaking off all over. You've only got to breathe on it and a piece of a flake of paint will come off it. So that's the tail bit. We've had a look at the canopy before. See if I can get you a better view. Show that damage. I don't know, the damage is showing up more. There, you probably caught it then, that reflection. But it's actually flattened the canopy at one side and it's creased. That's the problem, is the crease. But we might be able to do something with that. Now I've pulled these undercarriage legs out, which actually seem quite good. They've got a bit of springiness in them if you push them hard enough. What seemed to be a bit of rust on one of them. I don't know whether it was just a bit of the process of putting them together or what have you. But what is really surprising, I don't know if you can see this, is there where you can see that little bit of paint yet again flaked off. These are just clear acetone, like the canopy. Quite thin, reinforced of course with a ridge, but quite thin. They're just clear pieces of plastic sprayed with whatever paint they use, which is quite surprising. This is the exhaust. As I say, they're just blocks of foam, mate. They're just blocks of foam that have been moulded. And they should look quite good when they're on, so I'm not so bothered about that. On we go with the horizontal stabilisers. Now the same thing, the hinge with the foam hinges. The quality is quite good, but what I'm not sure is there's holes there. I don't think you'll be able to see it on the camera, but there's actually holes there as if there's some rods being put in, but I can't see any sign of rods. And it's very thin, so I'm not sure whether these rods in or not. Maybe somebody was putting one of these together before, or somebody from a Hobbyking can tell me if there's any rods in there. There doesn't seem to be any rods with the main reinforcing for the main wings, so I don't know. Maybe they'll be strong enough, maybe they'll be not. They're not bad. As I say, same thing, scuff marks and bits of paint missing. The wings, these are the big babies. Complete connections. Paint job, not too sure. The underneath seems okay. The moulding flash effort there, not being cleaned off very well. Now looking there, I don't know if you can see there, but there's pitting underneath the paint. Now I don't know whether the foam's been reacting with the paint or whether the foam is just crap foam basically. It's very soft. It's you can almost squeeze it. It's not much different to ceiling tiles, you know, about twice as hard as ceiling tiles. So again, we've got bits of flash there, not cleaned off, and these flaps are foam hinged yet again. So I'm not sure. They're very stiff, as you can see, they're creaking away. Very stiff. So they'll need working, and it may be that I'll need to install some hinges for those. The wiring's supposed to actually be set in these channels here, and so it's not been set in very well. It's all flopping out there. Setting okay there, flopping out there. The servos seem to be glued in. The guns, the simulator guns, rather just part of the moulding. Now usually you get maybe a bit of plastic there, you know, to make it more defined, just to stand out, but hey what, I'm just nitpicking. There's that sort of wing. Now this other wing, this is the one which I pointed out the damage on the flap as it is. Now look how stiff that is. You can hardly move that. That's a pretty some force there. It's just moving. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if you're supposed to cut it somewhere to get it moving or whatever, but it seems there you might have to break it somehow, I don't know. But as you can see, maybe a bit better now, that damage on there. Now that is a problem, and I think it's not to do with the packaging. I think because it occurs all the time, I think it's probably the way they're stored in the factory before they're actually put in the box for delivery. So I think that might be a factory problem. Eleanor's okay again. Now if you can see this top surface, can you see there? It's as if the spray that they've put on, like that, has affected the foam. It's like had a reaction to the foam. A bit like if you spray ornery car paint onto foam, you get that funny dippling effect, and that's what's happened there. So I don't know what's going on with the foam, but it's smooth enough. It just detracts from the look a little bit. But there you go. But like I say, this one's just fallen completely out now, so that'll need putting in there. Back in the recess in the wing, and also a little bit of glue or something just to keep it in, or maybe even some tape. But I don't like putting tape on because usually it peels off and takes the paint with it, so I might not do that. Just one thing I forgot to mention, I'm not showing you the other way, is the hard points for the undercarriage. Now there's some bits of wood in there. Now they seem glued in, but I'm not very confident that they'll actually stand up to many landings, especially on grass. We'll have to see. It might be that I end up actually having a model that I hand launch, which I'm quite used to with the Ripmax stuff, 109 and Spitfire, etc. But it doesn't inspire confidence. There doesn't seem to be a lot of wood there. But the model, it's not very heavy. So that's that bit. Now just nip and get the fuselage, if you bear with me a minute. Now then, as you can see, that with the nose, we've got the fuselage. It's got a decent motor, and it seems to be well installed, although you can't really get in much further than that to have a really good look. The fuselage itself, fairly well finished. As I say, the tail's actually been chopped off, so it'll fit in the box. So there you go. But it's a nice feature, I suppose. Now, this is what I think is really bad up to press with this model. Now if you take the hatch off, which is supposed to be held by magnets, as you can see, or maybe not see, but I'm trying to show you where the magnets should be, and they're not. They're not glued in. There's one magnet that's actually still glued in there. All the other magnets, they're not glued in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's just one that's still glued in, and it's not very secure. It's moving. So what you've got is the magnets that hold the hatch on. Oh, they're still here on the upper ones there. See? There you go. So they've tried to glue them in, but it looks like they've used Bostik or something like that. Not something very secure at all. and they've tried to glue it actually over the paint. You can see paint where, oops, you can see paint where they've tried to glue the magnets, paint, so that could be something to do with it. But that, to me, is bad. It reflects the overall quality, I think, of the model, that something like that is not done properly. One of the main things, the hatch, which needs to be secure in flight, is very insecure in my opinion. Here we have the speed controller, and unfortunately I can't actually see what rating it is. It says 45 watts on the gummins, so I'm assuming it's a 45 watt one, which just about does the job, I suppose. But if you want to go to a two-blader, something like 14.7 to what 14 by 7 to a 14 by 10, something like that, you could do with a 60 amp or better. And I'm not sure whether it's opto, whatever. So I might have to change that one out, so that'll be a bit more expensive. You can see there the wooden plate for the back of the motor, which seems very good actually. So that's a good bit. The paintwork is, if you like your models that look a bit like they've been in a few dog fights, then a bit of flaking paint I don't suppose is so bad. But the quality, it's just not there. You know, there's a bit of crush damage, probably done in the factory. But I suppose overall it can be made into a decent model, but it's definitely not an almost ready to fly model. Far from it. There's too many things need to be put right, fiddle about with, and whatever. I mean, I haven't even looked at the control arms or the tubes for the wings or test fitted anything yet. I've just basically had a close inspection of all the parts, and that's what I've found basically. Not even bother with drop downs, waste of space. These rods are substantial. These rods are substantial. These are what give the wing its strength, I believe. So they should be okay. But I think this model is going to need quite a bit of work to get into a decent, safe flying condition. I'm not sure about the connectors at all. We'll have to see. They're nicely numbered, so that helps you get them in the right place, I suppose, because you just cannot see where they disappear inside, basically. They all disappear into the back of fuselage. All the 3 servos, rudder, elevator and the steerable tailwheel are all hidden in the foam. They must install them before they join the fuselage together. So if I'm going to do some work on it now, I'll probably have to cut quite a big piece of foam out to access it, to do all the repairs. Piece of foam out and there. You have to excuse a bit of waffling about. I've tried to put some more light on tonight because it was a bit grainy the other night. I'm going to have to get that sorted out before I do much more filming. And as you can see hands with the disembodied voice, and occasionally my fat belly in the lens. So apologies for that, but I'm filming in a very small space on what's basically a telephone table with a piece of board on. So that's my excuse anyway. So I will continue this. What I shall do is do a little bit of putting together, and I'll film little bits as I go along, or bits that I've done, and go through anything I've found that's a bit, well, I'm a bit unhappy about, or it's a bit tedious, or I've had to buy something to make it work. Oh, by the way, I'm still waiting for the lipos. I ordered this baby from Hong Kong, as I said. That came reasonably quick. I ordered some lipos from the UK depot. I live in the UK, so you think it would be the same time or quicker. No, still waiting for the lipos. So hopefully they'll come this week, and I can get some connectors on those and wire it all up and see what happens with the electrics. But I hope you don't find this too tedious. It's only my second attempt of filming a thing, and that's my excuse as well. But I do feel it's important that when we buy models that you know, give out some feedback, and maybe the manufacturers will take notice one day and do a better job. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for listening, and I hope you're getting something out of it. Bye.